Norland Bud Allison knows something about commitment.
I'm married 60 years.
He credits his long-lasting marriage partly to the values he learned as a Boy Scout, such as loyalty.
Hasn't changed a bit.
He became a scout at the age of 12 and has served the organization for 72 years, first as a member of a troop in Illinois and later as a career scouting professional.
The uniforms have changed. The ideals have not changed. The Scout Oath and Law are still as important today as they were 100 years ago when Baden-Powell and Mr. Boyce put the program together.
The story of the Boy Scouts of America began in 1909 when Chicago publisher William Dickson Boyce found himself lost in a dense London fog. A boy whose identity remains unknown offered to help Boyce find his way. Molly Perot, the executive director of the Ottawa Scouting Museum, says Boyce was extremely impressed with the gesture, which the unknown Boy Scout from England called a good turn.
The boy informed him about the program that had been set up in 1907 in England by Lord Robert Baden-Powell, and he eventually took Boyce to Baden-Powell's headquarters. They met, they talked about the movement. He and Boyce formed a lifelong friendship. And Boyce gathered up all the literature that he had on scouting in England, and he brought it back to America.
Upon his return to the United States, Boyce brought together several loosely affiliated youth organizations and founded the Boy Scouts of America on February 8, 1910. 100 years later, the Boy Scouts remain one of the leading youth organizations in the country.
Over 100 million people have been involved in the program over the years. And basically, at the moment, there's 3.5 million scouts that are presently involved in the program.
Though Boyce died in 1929, he is remembered in his hometown of Ottawa, Illinois. Each year, Boy Scouts from around the United States gather for the Scout Homecoming to honor their founder, who was the grandfather of Lee Worthington Muller.
I think he would be very pleased to see that his ideals have withstood 100 years of history, and I think he would probably look around the country and the world, as it were, and he'd probably say, you know, it's a good thing I did this because there's an awful lot of help they need to have.
As a young Boy Scout in June of 1939, Bud Allison was present for the dedication of the Boy Scout Memorial at W.D. Boyce's grave.
After the ceremony, we gathered.
71 years later, he returned to pay tribute to the founder and to impress upon the Scouts gathered for the occasion that what they learn in the program today will help them become the leaders of tomorrow.
It's important. It's helping them to actually keep the values that you and I hold pretty dear, and as far as the American ideals and involvement and service to America. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful.
I firmly believe if a boy lives by the Scout Oath and Law, I really don't believe you'd find a finer human being. To be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, and all of those things. How important is that to your child? Isn't that the way that you want your boy to grow?
The influence of scouting is now a worldwide phenomenon. There are more than 500 different programs for both boys and girls in 185 countries around the globe. Kane, Farabaugh, VOA News, Ottawa, Illinois.